I just want to read, before bringing in John Mann on another subject, I just want to come to something that I think Mr. Coe might be able to respond on. Are you aware of this report that's been prepared by Republican staff of the Committee of Financial Services in the House of Representatives about HSBC and prosecution?
I read a newspaper article about it last night. That's my only level of awareness.
Well, perhaps you can give us some guidance. I mean, in a nutshell, it's alleged that by the Republican staff report that the Attorney General, Mrs. Holder, overruled an internal recommendation by the DOJ's Department of Justice's asset forfeiture and money laundering section to prosecute HSBC because of the Department of Justice's leadership's concern that prosecuting the bank would have serious adverse consequences to the financial system. And they go on to say the involvement of the UK's regulators in this appears, and I'm quoting, appears to have hampered the US government's investigations and influenced the Department of Justice's decision not to prosecute HSBC. My question to you is, since this is a Republican report about a Democrat attorney, is this just par for the course what you expect in the United States? You're very well placed to tell us. And should we put this report at a heavy discount, or is there something that we need to look at carefully on this committee?
So to be very clear, Mr. Chairman, I don't have any independent information on this. I think you are...
But you have a lifetime of judgment about such allegations.
Correct.
Which I'm asking you to
You are correct to point out that the party issuing the report is different from the party that's being criticized. It is a contentious political situation in the United States right now. I think it would be appropriate to wait.
You're a long way away from... You're 3,000 miles away. I'm sure you feel able to give a full and independent view about whether we should be taking...
I think it would be wise to wait and see how people responded who had information in the Justice Department and wherever about what actually happened. I wouldn't pass judgment until I heard the other side of the story.
I mean, the allegation is that it's not just that we've still got banks that are too big to fail, but banks with people working in them who are too big to jail. And that would be a very serious allegation, wouldn't it?
I agree, and one that has been discussed by the U.S. authorities, and I think the Attorney General himself in question said, at least sometime after this, that he didn't think that there were banks that were too big to jail. But I don't have any information about the facts of this specific situation.
It seems clear that there was some kind of intervention. Were you aware of it? Did the Chancellor discuss this with the government?
With respect to, no, I'm not aware of. I mean, we have discussions. Can I speak in general terms, I suppose?
We have discussions. I'd rather you spoke on specific terms. What I want to know is, have you discussed this case with the Chancellor of the Exchequer prior to the decision being taken by the attorney?
The specific case prior, which decision is? I've discussed.
Well, a decision has been taken not to prosecute HSBC.
Well, HSBC is under a deferred prosecution agreement in the United States,
in conjunction with a fine that was paid.
Yeah. So that decision. I mean, we didn't intervene with the Justice Department.
I wasn't asking you that. I was asking you whether you'd held any conversations or discussions with the Chancellor.
Well,
the allegation here is that UK authorities have suppose I could summarise it as been meddling with the... Okay. That's the allegation being made by this Republican report. And I'm trying to get to the question, were you aware of any such meddling? Did you have any such conversations with the Chancellor of the Exchequer prior to the decision being taken by the attorney?
Number one, no. Number two, no. Number three, but to get to what we're supposed to be discussing, which is financial stability, do we have discussions about potential prosecutions, issues around conduct, potential financial stability ramifications? It's not inconsequential.
And this is of considerable consequence to it. As this report itself says, the allegation is that to have acted against hsbc might have had serious adverse consequences on the financial system. And that judgment had a bearing on whether a prosecution took place. That's why I'm raising it.
From my perspective, my experience, the judgments of the Department of Justice and other U.S. Judicial authorities, and there are many, they are black boxes. They make their decisions based on their information. We will have, as the Bank of England and the PRA, we will have discussions on their request with U.S. financial stability authorities in general terms about some of these issues, but we don't have discussions with the U.S. judicial authorities about specific issues, so we can provide financial stability perspective.
But just to be clear, prior to any decisions being taken on this case, you had no discussions with the Chancellor of the Exchequer about it, and you haven't had any input in any way, and you're not aware of any input by UK regulators after it is the Financial Services Authority which is referred to.
Well, I'm not aware. First off, I haven't read this report. I haven't even read the journal article referring it, so I'm two steps removed from this. Secondly, I've answered the question previously, and thirdly, in general, in these issues, which are serious issues of misconduct, we have to take into account the financial stability implications of them, and manage the finance. That's not a judicial process. That's a financial stability process, which we do. The sort of parsing of when I spoke to the Chancellor about these issues, I speak to the Chancellor about a wide range of issues.
I don't think this is parsing. It's a very straightforward question. Did you have discussions?
But I answered the straightforward
question. With the Chancellor, and you've answered it. Yes,
yeah.
So I think it's an unreasonable question. That's a matter for your government and others outside this room. John Mann.
The risk